It is currently 12 a.m. or somewhere around that. I should be in my bed because I told myself I was going to go to bed earlier tonight, and that's not happening. I had an opportunity to go to sleep earlier, but I couldn't keep putting this off. I couldn't keep doing it. For months now, like I know I posted a video on my page of me talking in a park because I just had my phone out, but it's been a few months since I actually pulled out my camera and turned it on and I was the subject. Like, I was facing the camera. Obviously I take pictures and stuff, so been doing that, but it's been a while since I actually took my camera out and I was like the center of attention. And for the past few months I just kept telling myself, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. And so I just got to a state now where it's like, I'm gonna go to bed late tonight, but I'm gonna get this video recorded because I have to start putting it into motion. I'm gonna use this video as somewhat of a motivator, but also a like an introduction to pretty much talk about who I am, a little bit about my story and how I come up with the arts and all of that. So just to get straight into it, my name is Soul. Well, my name is Solomon, but you can call me Soul. And the whole idea of So Graphical was, I was basically looking for, or trying to come up with a street name for art in my poetry, because I didn't want to use my actual name. I may still use my actual name once I publish books and stuff like that, but I want a street name, you know? So Graphical, basically, it's the first 3 letters of my name, Soul, and the last 4 letters of pen in Spanish, which is boligrafo. So it's just graphical, so graphical. So it means Solomon's pen. And the reason why I chose that name is because writing and drawing, the aspect of picking up my pen or my pencil, has been the foundation of my art since I was young. And so, I don't know, it just spoke to me. And also, if I start slurring, see, I already started. If I continue or it gets really bad at me slurring my words, and it's not just because I'm tired, but I'm also drinking sleepy time tea, because as soon as I finish recording this video, I'm turning my camera off and I'm going straight to bed. I'm already prepared. I got my diffusers going. I already got my fan on. I'm basically in my pajamas. I already washed my face. I'm freshly showered. I brushed my teeth. I'm just drinking this tea, recording this video, and getting straight to bed right afterwards. So I apologize in advance if my words are slurring a little bit. But yeah, so that's the reason behind the name. The reason why this channel is called So Graphical X is because I have another channel that's just called So Graphical that you can look up. I put a link in the description. It's basically, that channel is more about videography and meditation videos and short films that I do. This one's about art and poetry, but mainly art. So that's why I separated them. And the X is like, I don't know, I just wanted something different. I didn't want to put numbers in it like So Graphical too. I didn't feel like doing that. So yeah, that's the reason. But I always liked YouTube more than Instagram. I found that it was better, and it just seemed like a platform that allowed me to really showcase my skills and my abilities more than Instagram, because Instagram is more centered around short form content, and YouTube is a lot longer. People are able to dive deeper into just stronger messages, and I'm assuming the attention span is a lot better with YouTube subscribers as opposed to people who just watch reels and TikToks, right? But I still have Instagram, and I showcase my art on that platform, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, so I'm a photographer, I'm a writer, a poet, a videographer, an artist. But since this channel is more about the arts and the poetry, I'm gonna talk about that. So when I would say that I've been drawing and writing since I was about 7 years old, 7 years old. I remember I used to sit in my bed and write stories on lined paper, and I would get lost into it at like 7 years old. The unfortunate thing is that I lost all those papers. I lost all those stories. Either I threw them away, like cleaned my room one day, you know, you get in that fit and you just want to throw everything out. I feel like I did one of those, and I threw it away, and I don't have it anymore, and I'm really sad about that. But a lot of my drawings when I was younger, I still have those. And yeah, I've been drawing since a very, very young age, and I'll put a couple examples of some drawings that I've done when I was like probably around 10 to 12, maybe probably a little younger than that, probably like 8 to 12, that time frame. And when I was really young, at that time, like around 6, 7, 8, I wanted to be, like when people would ask you, or people would ask me, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be an author. Those are the two things that I wanted to do when I grow up. But what I'm about to say is a reason why, if you're someone who, and you're an adult or a teenager, and you have authority over someone younger than you, and either you're a parent or a teacher or a guardian or a mentor, it is so important to nourish a child's dreams and be supportive in that, because you don't realize how just you supporting them in the small things, just if you say, yeah, you can do it, I believe in you, can really go a long way in a child's life, instead of trying to discourage them or make them pivot to do something else, right? So when I was young, I wanted to be a writer and an artist, but somewhere along the line, I was told that, or was given the impression that writers and artists starve, and you can't make any real money in that, and it's better to have like a actual profession or career that's something more, from to be honest, matrixy, you know. And so that mindset, or that whatever, came into my psyche early on, where I still drew, I still wrote, I still did all those things. But once I became a teenager, those things kind of went on the back burner, and it sucks, because it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, when you think about, you used to do something when you're young, and you're like, dang, if I stuck with that, I would be so much better now than what I was when I was such age, you know. But you can't change that. But yeah, once I became a teenager, I just stopped writing. I stopped drawing. But I was still a strong writer. Like, I wasn't writing stories anymore. I didn't get into journaling until I was like 19 or 20. But I was still a strong writer. I always did well in my writing classes. Anytime we had like those little writing prompts to do, like write a short story about, I was killing those. And I enjoyed it while everyone else was groaning. I enjoyed it. And yeah, that carried me. And I grew up, I went to college, I didn't pursue writing. My major was completely different, but then later on, I don't really like talking about my education, because it doesn't like really matter in this setting, but I'm just going to include it for the sake of the video. I graduated college and I went to get my master's. I got my master's in liberal studies, which is a writing degree. And I did really well in that. And that was around the time where I was already starting to get back into the beauty and the art of writing and journaling and all those things. So I just got a master's in it, and it was really cool. But at the same time, it was like, I know I'm not even gonna go into it. It doesn't matter. But fast forward to now, I'm a writer, I'm an artist. Obviously, the photography and videography came down later in life, like when I was around 20. Maybe 18, I started to get into it. But it's interesting because I believe that writing and drawing and illustrating is part of my purpose. I believe that the messages that God is going to be sharing with me to share to the world, He's going to have me relay those things through my art, through my writing, through my drawings and illustrations. And it's one of those things where it's like, it doesn't matter what you do in life. If you're called to a specific purpose, you could go a whole 360, you can go around the moon and back. You're always going to end up right where you need to be. And sometimes when I think about my life, it wasn't a straight path. Like, I went down different paths, exploring different things, but for some reason, it came back to the foundation for me, which was writing and drawing. So graphical, Solomon's pen, right? And I think that part of the reason why I'm thriving in it now, in terms of like my imagination is growing, I feel like I'm really getting a footing in my purpose, in my gifts, is because I never relinquish or let go of my childlike spirit. Even though as adults we all go through hardships and trauma and different things, I never let go of that. My imagination was always vast. That's why I was always kind of like an outcast growing up, very eccentric. Never really fit in cliques and groups because I just saw the world differently. And I carried that childlike spirit and imagination from when I was 6, 7 in my bed writing those stories. I carried that all the way into adulthood. But instead of suppressing it, now I allow him to have a grandiose role in the film of my life, side by side. And he comes out when needed, in terms of my creative process, you know? And I am also making this video to really as like a declaration that I'm going to take YouTube seriously. I'm going to use these avenues and these gifts that I've been given to build a life for myself and my future generations, to where it's like matrix breaking, and I no longer have to slave in a corporate job and work and just exist every day feeling miserable. And I'm also making this video to really encourage all of you to really tap into your gifts. And if you don't know what your gifts are, just pray, fast. Everyone has a gift. And the thing is, it's like this. This is another reason why I'm like, I gotta take this seriously, because it really is like a matter of life and death. Every day, as of now, 2025, there are thousands upon thousands of people in the U.S. who are losing jobs. Maybe not every day, but like often. There are thousands of people, a lot of people this year are losing their jobs or have already lost their jobs, right? And on top of that, it's even harder for them to find a new one. So they're losing their jobs or getting laid off or fired or whatever the case may be, because when you work for someone, they can let you go whenever. And then they're not being able to find a job because the job market right now is just disgusting. It's terrible. And I believe it's that way for a reason, because the dream is collapsing. The American dream, which is really a falsity, a facade, is collapsing. And people, whether they realize it or not, more so are realizing it, is that a lot of the things that we were taught to believe when we were younger about going to college and working a job and all this stuff, you put in your 40 years and you retire at 65, it was all a lie. It was all a facade to keep you trapped into the system and have this matrix, this demonic entity of this country to drain you of your energy for 40 years, drain you of your best years. So by the time you could actually kick your feet up and relax, you were already old, on your way out. And I, along with many other people in my generation, have come to the conclusion that we don't want to live that way. And we're not going to. I'm not going to spend 40 years of my life climbing the corporate ladder, working a job that I hate, that I wake up dreading every day, just to save a few pennies and retire at 65. I'm going to use the gifts that I've been given from the Most High God before I was even born, that He planted inside of me. I'm going to use those gifts to pave my own way. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say like quit your job, because I still have a job, I still have bills and stuff, but it's more so like tap in with what you were gifted. It's important. Like, if you really think about it, you really don't have anything to lose, because even if you're making good money, or you think you have a stable job, it's not as stable as you think. Because if you lose it, and that's all you depended on, now you're screwed. So it makes sense to, while you're still working, to build up something now, so that you can create something of your own, so you can have your own schedule. So that someone doesn't have to tell you when you can be sick, when you can go on vacation, when you can take days off to rest. You do that on your own time, And obviously there's a trade-off. It's not something that's easy, entrepreneurship, but it's worth it. And the thing is too, like, another thing that like kind of like annoying is that I've had conversations with people about this before, and a few of them would make excuses, and they would say things like, I'm not talented, I don't have any skills, so therefore I couldn't start anything because I'm not gifted with nothing. And even if you didn't believe that you were gifted with anything, we live in an age now where making money and having a business is not always associated with talent or gifts, because there are a ton of people who are making money and starting businesses off of stupidity, off of things that don't really require any real talent. Like, for example, like I know this is a bad example, because like it has to do with your morality, but people across the world, and it's not right, but there are people across the world who have OnlyFans accounts, and all they do is sell their bodies, men and women. And obviously, not obvious, but I don't get on OnlyFans. I have no idea what's on it. But it's 2025. It's not like it was. The environment of the state of the world is not how it was in the early 2000s or like even 2010. So what I mean by that is, like, there's something for everybody. So it's not like the only people that are on OnlyFans are just your standard fit, blonde hair, blue eyed, skinny model. I'm sure there's people that are plus size, people that have deformities, people of all races, men, women, it don't even matter. It's just anyone that wants to sell a service or sell a part of their body they get on OnlyFans, and a lot of these people are making, some of them are making millions. A lot of them are making tens of thousands, and they're putting food on the table and clothes on their back. Now they're selling their souls doing it, so I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying that, like, if there's people like that who are literally making a living just showing their body, which requires no skill at all, or people that go on YouTube and they just gossip, or they make podcasts about nothing, or they just do reaction videos about other people's lives, or people who have YouTube channels that talk about celebrities and they get sponsors, and all these people are making money not really doing anything with no skills, then you can create something. And if you're a good person, if you're like a naturally pure-hearted, or just a good person in general, and you want to create something to help other people, then you can do that. You just have to think about what it would be. Like, this is truly the age to tap in and use the digital world, use social media to your advantage, so that you can actually live the life that you want to live and not have to slave and work inside a job. And it's just a matter of whether or not you want to do that. And I love that I'm coming back to the arts now in this digital age, because it's like, to an extent, I kind of get why when I was young I was told that artists starve. It's not going to be what you think it is. You might suffer, you might struggle for a while. I get that, because I mean, I'm old enough to remember a time where social media wasn't popping like that. When I was 7, 8, 9 years old, even 10, honestly even 11, there was no Snapchat, there was no, I don't think Twitter was around. TikTok definitely wasn't around. Instagram may have just gotten started. So back then, the mindset of, oh, I want to be a content creator, that wasn't a thing, because the social media world wasn't as booming as it is now. But now in 2025, you can literally make money off your phone. You don't need a camera like I have it and lighting. You can just pull out your phone and record videos and post it, because we're also in the age where, since AI is coming up and people are craving things that are natural, because AI is starting to saturate, not even just saturate, honestly, like taint and poison society, poison the way we view things with fake stuff. So people are craving that real rawness, that pulling up your camera and just sitting down talking with very minimal edits, low stimulation. A lot of people are craving that because all they get is hyperstimulation through 10-second reels and 5-second reels and trends and dances and think pieces just coming at you 24/7. So it's just like, if you know that's the case, why not tap into that? Now, I'm not saying, like, there are some people who work a 9-to-5 job and they enjoy it and that's how they want to live their life. That's okay. But I also know there's other people who work a 9-to-5 job and they hate it, but they probably will still continue doing that and going down the standard matrix way of living, even though this entire system is collapsing, and they might fall with it because they're not willing to change. They're not willing to just put in the work and research and do the things you do to create your own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard people say that not everyone has an entrepreneur spirit, but I don't know if I believe that, because before the Industrial Revolution and the Scientific Revolution, everyone was basically an entrepreneur. Before they had like factories and stuff for you to work at, you know, before the Matrix really started, people were herdsmen and fishermen and did carpentry work, and they had their own trades, and they would just trade and sell things amongst each other. That's entrepreneurship. They weren't relying on a stimulus check. They weren't relying on 401ks and your bi-weekly salary from the government. There was none of that. It was just you had whatever you had, your cows or whatever, you figured out how to do it, or it just passed down to you. You were a blacksmith, you were a shepherd or whatever. And those things may seem small or whatever, but those are entrepreneurial spirits. And since the whole world lived that way at some point in time, that's how I know that everyone is capable of working for themselves. It's just a matter of whether or not you actually want to tap in and do that. And I guess I've gotten to the point where I've gotten to this stage so many times, but I really got to the point and stage in my life where I'm not going to settle for a mediocre life. I'm not going to settle for restrictions, just unnecessarily being restricted because of my job or money or none of that. So I decided to tap in with my gifts and see where it goes. The thing about going down a certain path or a calling or whatever the case may be is that, like, you don't know all the steps. And a lot of times, and this is what I've realized is in my own walk, a lot of times God will give you a few steps or an idea and he will not talk. He'll be quiet because he wants to see what you're going to do with the things he's given you, plus the things you already know about God and yourself based off of your own relationship and the things that you went through in the past. Like, people gotta realize that God isn't gonna walk you through and hold your hand in every little thing. For some people, he may do that in the beginning, but eventually he's gonna go quiet and wait for you to start making moves so then he can tell you what the next thing is to do. And you gotta be in a place or at a stage mentally where you really just start putting in that work. You pray, you do all those things, but you just start working, start creating. It's called trial and error. Just start something and see if it works. Like, we gotta start. You gotta stop playing with it because time is not on your side. I'm thinking we got a matter of 5 years before things really start to change. Like, before digital currency is in full effect, like the 2030 agenda is real. So now is the time to really tap into your gifts and just figure it out. Just try something. And if it doesn't work, pivot. I just don't understand. I understand, but I don't understand because there were many years where I was stagnant too and I didn't do anything. But then I was suffering, and then I realized that there's a stage where you may be suffering because you're being reprimanded or chastised, or maybe you're going through a trial that God wants you to go through. But I also feel like there can be a stage of your suffering where you're implicit in your own suffering and you may have already learned what you needed to learn in your trial. You're just still in it longer because you're not making any moves. You're not taking action. And sometimes you might have to take action by yourself without other people there to support you in any way. Because maybe you are the one person that is going to be like the catalyst to wake everyone up around you so that they start their own thing. They start their own journey. Sometimes you have to go through this road alone. It is what it is. But so the way this channel is gonna go is that I'm gonna do my usual yapping, talk about things that are on my spirit that are something similar to or related to something art or poetry related, and just related to life or God, whatever the case may be. And I'll show my drawing progress and maybe sometimes my writing progress. But this channel, I created this channel really honestly to encourage other people, not just for artists to tap into your art, but like anything that you do, just start doing it. And you may not be a master at it. That's why, like, I'm glad I started now, because I'm not a master at drawing. I'm not a master at the style that I'm drawing. I'm always changing my style. But I wanted to create this channel while I'm still kind of like in the beginner intermediate stage, to show that, bro, you can still create content and motivate and inspire people as a beginner, or as someone who you may believe that you're not at the peak of your craft. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because in the art world, I was looking on like Instagram and especially YouTube, a lot of the artists I would follow, they were doing art for 20 years or 10 plus years, and they were really good at it, and they were amazing. They did all these portraits and these beautiful art pieces, and I was feeling complacent to a point where I actually felt like I had to create art in a certain way. Like, I started off, my thing has always been surrealism, because I'm just eccentric in that way. I always loved looking at the world from a weird and nonsensical way, you know? And like having like faces have like different shapes and lengths and deformities, and the trees are like personified. Like I always saw the world that way. But when I would see certain artists on YouTube, they were doing these beautiful, realistic portraits and other drawings where it looked like a photograph. And because that was the type of content that I was consuming a lot, I started to think that I needed to create that way. And when you start to emulate someone else's style, it's dangerous because you stifle your own creativity. And it wasn't until I finally gave that up, and I was like, I'm just going to create for myself. And I'm going to do and create in the natural way that I know I love ever since I was a kid. Ever since I decided to do that, my creativity started to flow like an overabundance, to the point where like I have a lot of drawings that are just not finished, because I'll do a drawing and I won't finish. Like, I'll get to adding details and I'll get another idea, and I'll just pause that and go to something else. Like, it's an amazing feeling. And it comes by being true to yourself and just tapping into the gifts that you were given, and not comparing yourself to other people. That's really it. So if you're tired of living just the same cycle over and over again, I advise you to really lock into something. Anything. Just something that's not terrible. Something that's not corroding your soul or harming other people. Or something stupid, like prank videos. And that was another thing that I was going to mention, that there was a point in time where YouTube was coming up, but it wasn't like, it really wasn't popping like it is now. And there was a point in time where the only channels that were really big and popular, at least to me, were like prank videos, and like people were just like acting silly. But like, not everyone wants to do that, and that's a means to an end. But now there are many channels that talk about serious things, science, self-development, things that are like I know there's one channel, all she talks about is stationery, just like pens and pencils and stuff, and she's got like thousands of followers, and that's her thing. Like, any niche you want to get into, just create it. And there's always someone or a handful of people who think and act and enjoy the same things that you enjoy. We're unique, but we're not really that unique. And by that I mean, there are many people in the world who think just like you. You just have to be able to use your voice, put yourself out there, and just create something, and all those people will come to you. Your tribe will flock towards you because of the energy that you're putting out. And that's really it. That's it. Like, it's not as complicated as we make it seem in our own minds. Just start something and stop procrastinating. Procrastination is so evil. I've done it for so many years. I still do it from time to time. It's evil, and it's kind of like a slap in the face of God, because who are you to believe or to act like you have all the time in the world? Like, you know you're gonna wake up tomorrow. This may be your last day on earth. This may be your last video. You don't know that. I don't know that. So that's why you gotta tap into the things now and do it today. You want to write that book? Get to writing today. You want to draw? You want to sing? You want to start a herbal business, you want to start a floral business, you want to learn how to garden, you want to learn carpentry, start it today. And by starting it doesn't mean that you have to have all the tools. Just start researching, getting things in order, getting things in place, making a plan. Like, you really truly have nothing to lose. Like, the job market is dead. It really is. Unless you're a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer. I mean, shoot, you with the engineers, AI about to take them over too. But unless you're a lawyer or a doctor, everything else is like up for grabs. Like, in terms by up for grabs, I mean it's like Like, you can do it, but it's not a guarantee. It's not a guaranteed path, I would say. Like a lawyer or a doctor. So you might as well just go down your own path, honestly. So basically, just so that you know, most of the visuals that you're gonna see as I'm talking is some drawing that I'm working on. So a lot of these drawings, I will draw them on paper and then I'll translate them to digital. So I'll draw them again on my iPad. So I usually draw them in pencil and then I trace them in pen, and then it's easier for me to see it on my iPad and I'll just redraw it. But a lot of these drawings, you're gonna see like the beginning stages. If you want to see the final stages, just tap in with my Instagram, sographo.x, and I'll include descriptions below as well. Last couple of things that I wanted to mention before I hop into my bed and have a nice sound sleep is that and it might offend some people, it might offend you, but honestly, sometimes we do need to get offended in order to change. But I was talking to my sister recently, and we were talking about this verse, and it really does hit home in terms of not procrastinating and pushing off the things that you know you need to do. So the Bible verse is James 4 verse 17, and it states, "If anyone then knows the good they ought to do and does not do it, it is sin for them." And that goes with not just spiritual things, but things in your daily life. If you know you're supposed to be exercising and you don't do it and you procrastinate, you're sinning because you're neglecting your body. If you know that and I'm not saying like rest days, I'm talking about you can actually do it today, but you're given an excuse not to. That's a sin. And sometimes you have to do things even if your mood doesn't want to. Like, you can't just go off your mood and everything, because the thing is, it's like a lot of people don't want to go to work every day, but they still wake up and go to their jobs that they hate, even though they were complaining and cursing all the way to the job. People do that, but then they don't have that same energy with the things in their life that actually matter, like your health, or if you want to start a business, or if you want to take a class, or you want to learn something. Like, stop pushing it off for tomorrow. Like, that's so dangerous. Just do it now. Just start now. Because if you don't, and you know you're supposed to do this, especially if you know that part of your purpose is to do something X, Y, and Z, maybe it's something on social media, maybe it's to collaborate with someone, you keep pushing it off, and you know that if you do this, you're going to help a lot of people, and you don't do it, you're sinning, because you're also kind of delaying someone else's freedom. You gotta look at it like that too. Like, we're all connected. So me making this video, or you making a video, or you creating something, it's helping someone, and you may not know. And that's the beautiful thing about social media now, is that you're connected to people all over the world. There is someone in this world that needs to listen to this video that I have here, and it will be the catalyst to get them to push, to get on their stuff and be serious about it. But if I keep pushing this video off like I've been doing, I'm sinning, because I'm delaying someone else's freedom in their own mind. It really is that serious. So, yeah. But I wanted to include that. And lastly, I have a donation link if you want to donate to the channel. It's in the description. I think it's going to say donation. I'll have it titled. It's through the Buy Me a Coffee organization. If you want to send me something, whatever, even if it's a penny, I appreciate it, because it's going towards this channel and helping me build up and buy things that I would need to give you guys better content. So I really appreciate it. This is so graphical. This is like my third or fourth video, but it feels like my first video, because the other ones I had no direction, just messing around. But at least I posted. But now we're really about to be on it, and I really believe that as I stay consistent, I'm not even gonna say if, as I stay consistent, it's gonna grow into something extraordinary, and I'm gonna be able to reach and help a lot of people. So I appreciate you for listening. If you stayed this far, I am extremely tired. The sleepy time lavender kicked in, like, honestly, almost 30 minutes ago. I don't know how I'm still talking without, like, if once I get tired, I really start slurring my words, and I'm already kind of like a mumbler in a way. But yeah, I'm about to log off and go straight to bed. So I'm glad I recorded. I'm glad I finally did it. Hope you all have a good night, good day. Stay creative, stay imaginative, tap into your childlike spirit, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.